So before I bought Jules Bistro, I owned a small boutique ad agency, and I operated it out of my home. And I met most of my clients at Jules Bistro. It was my place. It was my place to meet people. It was my place to get out of my house. I got to know Julie, the previous owner, very well. I tried to get her to hire me to help with her marketing, and she would always laugh at me and say, "Oh, I don't do marketing." And then one day I was in meeting with another client, and she tapped me on the shoulder and she said, "I think I need to hire you." And I got really excited because I thought she was going to ask me to redo her logo, and instead she said, "I'd like to sell my bistro and I'd like to do it quietly. Can you help me?" And inside I was thinking, I have no idea how to do that. That's not what I do, but I just smiled at her and said, "Give me a few days and I'll come back with some ideas." So I got in my car, I drove home, I walked up the steps, and I looked at Brian and I said, "Julie's selling the bistro and I'm going to buy it." It was never my dream to buy a restaurant. I don't like to cook. I just knew in the moment when she was selling Jules that it was the next thing that I was supposed to do. I think I panicked a little bit. I think I was afraid someone else would buy it and ruin it, and I just really wanted to preserve the specialness and the uniqueness of it. 6 weeks later, I got the key to the door. Julie and I shared a bottle of wine on the patio, and it was done. And I think a lot about that moment that she and I shared that bottle of wine, because it was such a hopeful moment, and there was so much I didn't know, so many things I had no idea about. I know myself well enough to know that I'm motivated by fear. I create opportunities for fear in my own life because I know when I'm faced with fear, I will do something really great as a result. Buying Jules is an example of that. I really had no idea what I was doing, and for the first 8 months that I owned Jules, I was in a constant state of fear and panic, trying to figure out how to make it work. And those are the times when I perform well. The darkest moments during the pandemic, when I even thought about giving up, the thought of not being able to come to work the next morning and be with the really talented, lovely humans that work for me, is what kept me going.
Yeah, I think a lot of places say that they are team-oriented, and they mean that you work with other people, but not necessarily that team is in the forefront of what you're doing. And it is such a driving part of what we do at Jules, from the way that we serve tables, which is more of a team style serving, where we help each other out with tables and really interact with each other's guests as needed, to just like in our personal lives, we really try and support each other as much as we can. It is sometimes hard to think about her as a supervisor because she works alongside us so well. She will come upstairs and pitch in where we need her to. So I think in a lot of jobs you don't see your boss work with you necessarily. And from the moment I've worked at Jules, I've seen Donella work with the team, which has been very different than my other experiences.
One of Donella's greatest traits is her kindness, and it really shows itself in all of the kinds of community involvement that Jules does. The work with Anna Marie's Alliance, the work with the Diaper Drive, and individual mentorships with members of her team. I have seen some incredible interactions and mentorships that Donella does with her team, and just mentorship with me.
Have a team that is primarily women, particularly younger women, and Donella does a really great job of modeling what it's like to be a successful woman in the way that she runs her business, the way that she interacts with the community, the example that she's setting in terms of like being involved with organizations that are important to her, And I think she's just modeling like really strong behavior for how to be confident and assertive, how to be respectful, how to navigate business relationships with people. Her involvement with the staff at Jules and her involvement in the community, both I think are really showing what it's like to be like a strong business leader. And I mean, she is a woman in business, and so she's bringing women along with her.
I think it is very easy to overlook hospitality professionals in the course of your day. And I just really wish people understood how the smallest amount of encouragement and praise can make all the difference in the day for that person.